Winter dioramas are always something special. Some of them capture the atmosphere so well that you can almost feel the cold and frost just by looking at them. But what makes winter landscapes so captivating? What winter-themed model kits are available? And which standard kits can be adapted for winter dioramas? Let's find out. Before we start, I want to mention that I'm currently using AI for voiceover because my English is not yet strong enough for recording on my own. However, I'm actively learning and hope to do my own voiceovers soon. In the meantime, if you enjoy the content, please support the channel. Subscribe, leave a like, hit the notification bell, and if you'd like, consider supporting the channel's growth. Now, let's get started. So, in this video, we will take a closer look at the model kits available from different manufacturers, specifically for creating winter dioramas. First and foremost, the first thing that comes to mind is the Aerosleds from Trumpeter. In fact, the idea for this video originally came from thinking about these models. I came across them once again in a model shop, and as always, my imagination started painting scenes and locations where they could fit. These kits have more advantages than one might initially think. First of all, their uniqueness. Aerosleds are not a common subject in scale modeling, so finished projects featuring them always attract attention and generate interest. Another important factor is price. These kits cost only about $10, which is quite affordable for a 1 to 35 scale model. And of course, Trumpeter has a solid reputation as a manufacturer. Their kits generally offer decent quality and well-structured, easy-to-follow instructions. One specific feature of Aerosled models is that they must be placed on a diorama base or vignette. Aerosleds without snow will simply look out of place and lose their intended atmosphere. In addition to Trumpeter, AMG also produces Aerosleds in 1 to 35 scale. I haven't personally worked with their kits, so I can't comment on the quality, but visually, they look quite interesting. Another manufacturer of Aerosleds is AVD Models. This brand is relatively rare in Europe and the USA, but if you manage to find one of their kits, you will get an Aerosled model in 1/43 scale. And unlike the others, this one is a civilian version rather than a military one. In 1 to 72 scale, AMG offers the same line of Aerosleds as in 1 to 35. Additionally, the company ACE provides a selection of Aerosled models for fans of this scale. Another interesting manufacturer is Military Wheels, which produces a civilian version of an Aerosled based on a car body. This is quite an unusual model, but due to its small size, it may not be for everyone. However, for 1/72 scale enthusiasts, this exotic subject might be a great addition. As you can see, even though Aerosleds are a very niche subject, there is a surprising variety of kits available. And what's great is that they are not expensive resin kits, but rather affordable plastic models with decent quality. Of course, for winter dioramas, figures are an essential element. They add realism to the scene, making it more dynamic and visually engaging. In 1 to 35 scale, there are quite a few figure sets featuring soldiers in winter uniforms. You can see some of them on the screen now, but in reality, there are more than we can fit into this video. While the selection isn't overwhelming, there are definitely some great options available. Naturally, the majority of these figures represent Soviet and German soldiers. This comes as no surprise, as the harsh winter of 1941 to 1942 in the USSR was a defining period of World War II, and this has been well reflected in scale modeling. It's impossible not to mention ICM's aircraft models. They produce I-153 and I-16, including winter versions. The main difference between these winter models and their summer counterparts is the replacement of wheeled landing gear with skis, allowing them to land on snow-covered fields, frozen lakes, and rivers. Additionally, these aircraft are typically painted white or silver, giving them a distinct winter appearance. In addition to the traditional 1 to 72 and 1 to 48 scales, ICM also offers 1 to 32 scale kits, which makes for a rather large and impressive model. If you're into aircraft modeling and want to break away from the usual designs, Winter versions of familiar planes can add some fresh variety to your collection. Notably, ICM's aircraft kits are great for beginners. They feature good detailing, but without unnecessary complexity, making them an excellent choice for those new to aircraft modeling. Honestly, I'm considering building an I-16 in 1 to 32 scale and placing it in a diorama alongside a fuel truck in 1 to 35 scale. I believe the small scale difference won't be noticeable, and the final scene could turn out really interesting and dynamic. Of course, armored vehicles and trucks should also be mentioned. Some model kits are initially offered in winter camouflage, as indicated by the box art. However, in reality, any tank or truck can be painted in winter camouflage and placed in a winter setting. The key factor is appropriateness. Obviously, an M113 in Vietnam or a PZ-3 from the Africa Corps would look out of place in a winter scheme. On the other hand, vehicles used on the Eastern Front are quite fitting in winter camouflage. It's also important to note that not all vehicles were actually repainted white in winter. Context and historical accuracy should be considered. Winter camouflage is most characteristic of World War II. In later conflicts, its use became increasingly rare, and today, it's almost non-existent. This applies to trucks and prime movers as well. They can also be painted in winter camouflage, but it's essential to respect historical accuracy. Additionally, there are dedicated winter-themed kits, such as those from MiniArt. Nowadays, modelers have access to a wide range of ready-made materials for creating realistic winter scenes. There is an extensive selection of mixtures for simulating snow, ice, and water, making the process much easier. Most of these products are pre-mixed and ready to use straight from the jar without the need for dilution or additional preparation. They provide consistent results and are especially useful for beginners. However, I prefer using simple and budget-friendly alternatives. In my projects, I rely on basic household materials, specifically PVA glue and baking soda. This method allows for achieving a highly realistic snow texture at minimal cost. Moreover, it can be easily adjusted to create different effects: freshly fallen fluffy snow, compacted tracks, or slightly melted patches. When it comes to winter camouflage, applying it is also a relatively straightforward process. Historically, such camouflage was often temporary, applied over the standard paint using whitewash or thinned paint. As a result, its appearance varied. Some areas were evenly coated, while others became worn over time, revealing the base color underneath. These subtle details add realism and depth to a model. In one of my upcoming videos, I will demonstrate the step-by-step process of applying winter camouflage to a finished model, along with the necessary materials and tools. Additionally, I plan to make a video on how to create artificial snow for dioramas using DIY techniques, so you can choose the method that works best for you. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on new releases. Winter modeling is a fascinating field that offers plenty of creative opportunities. We've covered winter camouflage, vehicles, and materials for simulating snow and ice. In upcoming videos, I'll demonstrate these techniques in detail. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episodes.